In hindsight, it was probably a mistake for me to expect this game to come easy. So game wrapped up half an hour ago, maybe. I've been watching the rest of the late games. I'm still watching the Arizona Detroit game whenever that starts up again. But thought I'd go ahead and crank out the video now, and if anything interesting happens to my right, so be it. But Seahawks win, not the way you really would have wanted to see. 21-20. We had to, grind the clock out and picking up a first down late in the game on the ground. We had to get a defensive stop right at the end. We had to force a late turnover to seal it, but that's the W. So, talking about this game, let's start with the positives. Positives, number one, let's looking at the offense. When Wilson got time, he looked on point. He looks ready to go out there and earn that contract. If you just take his game in a vacuum, when the opportunity to make plays was there, he made them. Chris Carson, he had the bad fumble. He's going to, running backs do that every now and then. He made a couple very nice plays in the red zone to get us two early touchdowns in this game that we ended up really needing. He had the 21-yard scamper to almost put the game away on a third down that was not an easy run. And tonight, I'm sorry, not tonight, but today, even though the rushing attack was not what we want it to be, we averaged less than 3 yards a carry. It was not the kind of rushing attack that we've invested in over the last couple years, but I see where they can be good. I see where Chris Carson is still the guy that he was last year, just a beast of a running back. So I think once we get things going with the offensive line, which I'll get to later, Penny and Carson and whatever we end up seeing out of Procise this year, it's going to be good. DK Metcalf. I expected so little from this guy as a rookie. Oh, Kyler. Kyler Murray is doing it. Sorry. Anyway, DK Metcalf, who I expected very little from in his rookie year, has already exceeded my expectations. He caught a 42-yard pass that took the top off the defense. He caught a couple other good passes. He had a bailout on a third down where the play just looked broken and Wilson lobbed it up. He drew a pass interference call in the end zone. He got screwed on a bullshit OPI penalty where, he didn't make the catch anyway, but, it was a horseshit call. So, yeah, DK, way above my expectations. I also saw a lot of passes to Chris Carson. Some of it was because the offensive line wasn't doing their dang job, but I see us using the screen game a little more this year, which I personally like. And today, it was Chris Carson. He got 6 catches. I would rather see those plays to Rashad Penny, but either way, I like that we're starting to effectively run screen passes. We got a touchdown out of it today. We had a couple other decent little dump-off passes to Carson. I like that. I like that stuff. I'd like more of that. And I'd like them to be effective because we have not been an effective screen team for quite some time. So those are the bright spots for me on the offense. In many ways, first and goal. Oh, this game's going to be over quick. Ugh. I think the whole NFC West is going to win today, looks like. But anyway, defense. The run defense looks for real. Cincinnati, they didn't try to establish the run, I'll say that much. They didn't run the ball very much today at all, which was a big surprise to me. Joe Mixon didn't do a thing, and then he got hurt. And then Giovanni Bernard, he got a few carries, didn't do a ton with it. I don't want to go crazy with it right now because Cincinnati just didn't commit to the run at all in this game. And I would, of course, like to see what we do against a team that is actually trying to pound it over and over and over again, like some of these teams are. But after one game, the run defense has come a long way from last year where they were just bad. And, there are so many guys you can give props to for that. Puna, Al Woods. I thought Al Woods had a great game. He had a big stop on a 4th and 1. He made some other big plays. He recovered a fumble. Bobby Wagner, of course, just flawless. KJ Wright, great game. This run defense looks like they are ready for good things to happen. And the pass rush for what we had out there today, missing 3 key guys, was okay. We got 5 sacks on Dalton. There were definitely plays out there where I was like, we can't get to this guy. He's got all day. But I got to give credit where credit is due. Some of the guys stepped up. What else? What else can you say for a guy like Quentin Jefferson, who had 3 sacks last season, comes up huge today? I got to give Quentin Jefferson the game ball. 6 tackles, 2 sacks, almost had a third, 2 tackles for loss, 2 pass deflections, and 3 hits on the quarterback outside of the sacks. I mean, those are the numbers I expected from guys like Clowney and Onza. I never would have expected that from a guy like Quentin Jefferson. So he's the player of the game for me. Shout out to Clowney, who played limited snaps, picked up a sack, tackle for loss, deflected a pass that he almost picked off and took back, had a hit on the quarterback. Arizona kicking a field goal to my right. And you can immediately see that he's going to be a huge difference maker, Mr. Jadeveon Clowney. And I am super excited to see him when he starts playing most of the snaps. It was a little frustrating today how limited he was. But in the future, that's going to go away. And Michael Kendricks, good game by Mr. Kendricks as well. Punting, Dixon had a pretty good game getting the punt off. He had 1 punt that he was able to get away despite extreme pressure on his face, and it was still a good punt. Kickoff and punt coverage was for the most part solid. We forced a turnover on special teams, BBK. That's how you get your name out there. I'm going to be meeting BBK pretty soon, so that's pretty cool that he was able to make a big play like that. So there is a lot of positives. There are a lot of good things you can take away from a game like this one. But you don't squeak out a win at home against the Bengals without having a lot to complain about. So offensively, I got to give a lot of shit to this offensive line, which I have been talking up lately. Last year, I thought they improved a lot as the season went on. I thought they were good. I thought they were ready to settle in and become a great offensive line. And look, I'm a guy who blames quarterbacks for sacks. I think most sacks, or at least a small majority of sacks, are on the quarterback. But today, it's tough to put any of that on Wilson. He got sacked 4 times. It's hard to put that on him. He got hit 9 times. I mean, who didn't get embarrassed today? Dwayne Brown got embarrassed at least once, and he's a guy that I expect to perform out there always. Justin Britt got embarrassed on a play that Wilson managed to save, but with the crazy lob to DK. But 3-man rushes were getting in to hit Wilson. Meanwhile, we were rushing 5 and 6, and Dalton still had a good pocket. The running game was, I don't put nothing on these running backs. The struggles of the running game today, I got to put it on the offensive line. There just weren't holes, and there were defenders in the backfield constantly. We had guys running into each other a lot. It looked like the 2017 Seahawks, and that's not what we need. That's really not what I need to be dealing with right now, because so many aspects of this team are ready to make a run at things, and we can't do it if the offensive line is not holding their own. And in the fourth quarter, they got better, and we saw the big strike to Lockett. We saw Carson pretty much seal the game with the 3rd down run, but we need 4 quarters. We need 4 quarters. Today we won because the offense was efficient in the red zone, and because they were able to force a few turnovers to really flip the game. But most games, that offensive line performance will kill you. So very down on that. Down on Lockett a little bit for dropping a game-changing 4th quarter bomb right in his lap, but I'm not mad at him. You can't be mad at Lockett for dropping the 1 pass he'll probably drop all season. He doesn't do that. We know that. And it was just shocking to see. So that's your offense. But What I'm really worried about right now, what I really need to see something better out of soon is this secondary. I know the pass rush will get better. The pass rush, they're going to get guys back. Clowney's going to play more. The pass rush we see in a month is going to look nothing like the pass rush we had today. But that secondary, and I know they're playing against the fastest man in the NFL in John Ross, but John Ross hadn't done a thing in the NFL hardly before today. And they didn't have AJ Green, and that is a very pedestrian group of wide receivers. And today, Andy Dalton, when he got time, he was picking our secondary apart. And again, it'll look totally different when we get Reed back and Ansa back and maybe even a little bit of Collier back. But Trey Flowers had the worst game of his career, I think. He played 15 good games last year. He got beat up against Denver in week one, not surprisingly. And that was as bad as I have ever seen him. John Ross ate his lunch all game long. Whenever he was put on anybody else, it seemed like he was giving up plays. He had the kind of game that Shaquille Griffin was having last year, except worse. Like, I don't think Shaquille Griffin had any games that were that bad last year. Detroit driving down. Gonna keep an eye on this one. I guess we're rooting for Detroit. So yeah, not good, but tough matchup. I understand. He got screwed on a BS PI call on third down that ended up not resulting in a touchdown anyway, so it ended up not mattering a ton, but bull crap. That was some bull crap on a dude who's already struggling, so I'm going to give him a break for that. Shaquille Griffin played an okay game, I thought. McDougald, I didn't notice him a ton out there. He was fine. But they don't have ball skills, it seems like. I mean, Bradley McDougald, we've seen him make some plays on the ball before, but Shaquille and Trey, and especially now Tedrick Thompson, and I'll get to him in 1 second here. Tedrick, it's time to put Marquise Blair in there. Tedrick's not getting better, and he's got one job in this defense. All we need him to do is take away the long ball, and today he gave up basically a Hail Mary prayer. I'm just, yeah, it's not good. That play, with one play, I'm already ready to move on from Tedrick Thompson. If he can't do that, then what's the point? He is here to prevent that play. And he doesn't make any plays to make up for shit like that. So I'm ready to see Marquise Blair go out there. He's going to make mistakes just like Tedrick does, but I think Blair's going to make some plays to make up for it, and I think he's going to learn. Tedrick's in his third year now, and I see nothing from him. There are guys who defend him and say, oh, he's pretty good at taking away the big play, but after today, you know, just it's a layup, man. Just knock the ball down, pick it off, whatever. That, it's trivial, and he mistimes his jump, lets the corner get behind, receiver get behind him. You can let the guy catch it and then tackle him, and the half's over. And that almost cost us this game. That was a huge play in this game. That hurt. So I'm looking at the secondary right now, and Trey gets a pass. He's a young player who had a bad game. Everyone's entitled to that every now and then, especially what he gave us as a rookie. Shaquille, fine. McDougald, fine. And at the end of the day, fine is not good enough when you don't have any monsters in that secondary. And right now it looks like we don't. Andy Dalton tore us to shreds. We are lucky that they were so inefficient in the red zone. They were 0 for 3 in the red zone today. Settling for field goals. They missed a field goal today, actually, as well. We clamped down on them when they got close to the goal line, admittedly, but the secondary right now, I got to see something better. They were a concern in the preseason. They were a concern in the offseason. Today's not going to make anybody feel better. Hurry back, Anza. Hurry back, Jaron Reed. Hurry back, Collier. You're going to make it better, but I need to see some ball skills from these secondary players. Right now, I'm not seeing much from any of them, except maybe McDougald. But that's your defense. Ooh. Oh, This game's going to end in a freaking tie. This game is going to end in a freaking tie over here. So that's fun. Everybody loves that. Coaching, I like what I saw on defense for the most part. We sent some key blitzes to get pressure on Dalton when we really needed it. We were able to fill run gaps. They had one good run play pretty much all game. Offensively, this is why I don't believe in Brian Schottenheimer. This is why I will never really get behind Brian Schottenheimer. If you're going to pay your quarterback $40 million, you need to trust him to make a good play on 2nd and 16 or 3rd and 15 or whatever. You got to trust him to make a good play. I know it's not ideal. I know it's not what you want, but you cannot be running give-up plays with a $40 million quarterback. You can't be running the ball on every 2nd and long and setting up a 3rd and long-ish. So, yeah. We saw the bad Schottenheimer today. This is why even when he's good, he's not going to convince me. I don't believe this team can get to where they want to be. I don't think this team can reach their potential with this Schottenheimer offense. It's not the kind of offense I want to see. I would much rather have an offense like what the Bengals were running today. And look, we have a couple receivers out. We have a couple young receivers who we don't totally trust yet. I get that. I'm going to give it time to pan out and hope we open up the offense a little bit when we get some of these guys back, when we play in better weather, yada, yada, yada. But we had more rushing attempts today than passing attempts, I think. It was like 24 to 25. I would be okay if we had a rookie quarterback. I really would. I would understand. But we have a $40 million quarterback. Use him. All right, long video, but there was a lot to go over. This was a weird, weird game. It's tough to be too happy right now. Offensive line and defensive secondary both need to get much better next week and in weeks going forward, or we can't get bailed out by the run defense and a couple big plays every week. All right, see y'all later. Go Hawks. 1-0. Peace.